What's up, guys?
We've got two big cards this weekend, UFC Noche and Canelo vs. Crawford. The UFC card is solid, with a great main event. Alexander Hernandez vs. Diego Vera is a strong matchup, and Santiago Luna vs. Li Kwang should also be fun. The opener is the long-awaited Ultimate Fighter finale between Rodrigo Cezinando and Daniel Danenko. As for rising prospects, there aren't many, but if I had to pick one, it'd be Santiago Luna, my fighter to watch. In the main event, Diego Lopez is probably the bigger name, but since he's already fought Volkanovski, a Silva win could spark interest in a fresh championship matchup. That said, Volkanovski really should fight Evloev first. The what's at stake fight of the night has to be Jose Medina. Honestly, it's surprising he's still in the UFC. He lost both of his fights, the last one by knockout to a Tabataire, and he didn't even win on the Contender Series. He lost there, still got signed, and then dropped his next two UFC fights. Now he faces Dusko Todorovic. If Medina loses, he'll likely be fighting in another promotion. For the banger of the night, I think it's the main event. Both guys are explosive, exciting, and skilled. They're doing a lot of the heavy lifting on this card, and it should deliver. The sleeper fight is Alessandro Costa vs. Albin Cora, definitely one people are overlooking.
Now, back to the start. The Ultimate Fighter finale between Rodrigo Cezinando and Daniil Donenko.
These two were originally scheduled to fight at UFC 319 before it got cancelled. Donenko enters as a big favorite, and for good reason. He's the more well-rounded fighter and clearly the better striker. He's gone 4 and even 5 rounds before, while Cezinando slowed down in round 2 of his last fight. Donenko also wrestles well. His takedown defense hasn't been tested much, but Cezinando is a strong grappler with slick transitions and dangerous submissions. If it hits the ground, Cezinando probably has the edge. The problem is that Donenko might be the stronger wrestler and can grind him out over 3 rounds. If Cezinando gasses, Donenko will defend takedowns, pressure forward, and punish him with his Muay Thai style. His snapping high kicks, sharp lead kicks, and heavy counterpunches are a big threat. Cezinando, by contrast, is reckless on the feet and less seasoned as a striker. Overall, Donenko looks like the more skilled and complete fighter. He's proven over 4 and 5 rounds, and I see him drowning Cezinando late. My pick, Daniil Donenko by 3rd round TKO. Next up, women's bantamweight.
Montserrat Rendon vs. Elise Pereira.
The stat sheet here is wild. Rendon is 36, while Pereira is just 19. Pereira is 5 feet 10 inches, tall for the division, similar to Germaine de Randamie, who's 5 feet 11 inches. Pereira also went 5 rounds in her last fight, which gives her good pacing experience. Her career does have some odd notes, though. 2 of her early wins are listed as illegitimate by Topology. One was an 11-second KO in Dubai, the other a fight in Brazil against Shireen Almeida. Topology questioned the first because they thought the promotion padded her record, and the second due to insufficient evidence. But the fights definitely happened, you can find footage, so it's a bit unclear why they're flagged. That said, Pereira's skills are legit. She's not the most technical striker, but she's long, fast, and dangerous. Rendon, meanwhile, looks much slower and should try to take the fight to the ground, where she may have the advantage. But if she stands, she'll likely get picked apart. Even with Pereira's wild haymakers, her straight right hand is effective after setting it up with the left. Rendon just doesn't have that same sharpness. Bottom line, I think Elise Pereira wins, mostly due to her size, speed, and athleticism, though there's that. Pereira has shown solid wrestling in the past and has already gone 5 rounds, but I think the difference here is her speed and power.
My pick, Elise Pereira by 2nd round TKO. Next, the sleeper of the night, Alessandro Costa vs. Albin Cora.
Costa has alternated wins and losses in his UFC run, but considering his defeats came against Amir Albazi in his debut and Steve Erceg, they don't look too bad. His wins have been impressive finishes over Kevin Borjas and Jimmy Flick, both TKOs, even though his reputation was built on his submission game earlier in his career. Much like Ilia Topuria, Costa started as a grappler and gradually transitioned into more knockouts as his striking improved. His calf kicks are brutal, and his style is that of a compact, powerful puncher who chops the legs and then fires big, explosive shots. Cora, meanwhile, is undefeated in his last 4, with 1 no contest. That NC came in what was supposed to be his breakout win. He knocked out Paris Moran, a highly touted prospect, with a beautiful knee in round 1. But it was overturned due to marijuana use. He even joked afterward that he was on that Nate Diaz stuff. Obviously, that won't fly in the UFC. Still, the guy is legit. At 5 feet 7 inches, he's tall for the division and known as a dangerous submission artist, nicknamed the Cobra for his slick grappling. On the feet, he's gotten much more confident with his Muay Thai. His defense isn't great, though. He stands tall with a very offensive style. That stance could actually help him check Costa's calf kicks, which is crucial. Costa has already wrecked the legs of multiple opponents, and Cora can't let himself get compromised early. If he keeps the front leg light and mixes in push kicks, he can maintain range and look for his single-leg takedown entries, which he times very well off his striking. The question is whether he'll run into a wall. Costa is incredibly strong, has solid wrestling, and may have a clear physical advantage. Cora's best path is to use his jab, long-range knees, and defensive footwork to intercept Costa. But ultimately, I think Costa's power, explosiveness, and leg attacks will wear him down.
My pick: Alessandro Costa by 3rd round knockout.
Then we move on to Zachary Reese versus Cedric Dumas. Reese is 3-2 in the UFC. He's coming off a win over Dusko Todorovic, who's also on this card. Before that, he was TKO'd in the first round by Azamat Murzakanov, and prior to that he beat Jose Medina, also fighting on this card, by finish. He also scored a 20-second knockout of Julian Marquez, but his UFC debut ended rough. He was slammed and TKO'd by Cody Brundage while going for an armbar. Reese is a pretty well-rounded fighter, capable everywhere but without a single standout specialty.